What's up, y'all? Guitar Maintenance. I'm going to show you how to get your guitar just feeling really good, and specifically your rosewood fingerboard electric guitar. Let's go. All right, so I've got this Strat here that had some old strings on it and just needs a little bit of attention to get it feeling really nice. So I've got the old strings cut off and I've taped off the pickups with gaff tape. So I've covered up the magnets here on the pickups on all three with gaff tape. And I've also used the tape to tape off a fret. And I'll show you this at a different angle. All right, so here's the pickups taped off. And then here is the fret taped off. And I've just got it marked off to where, you know, the fingerboard is kind of covered up and I'm just showing the fret. And so what I'm gonna do is take steel wool and I'm just gonna break off a little piece. So I've got one right here. And I'm gonna go on each fret and just polish back and forth with the steel wool. And the reason why we tape off the fingerboard is so that we're not using the steel wool on the fingerboard. We're just getting it onto the fret. And so you just go back and forth until it starts looking shiny. And this is just cleaning off the oxidization and getting that fret to just feel really nice and smooth. And so I'm gonna go across and do this on all the frets. When moving from fret to fret, what you're gonna do is take the tape off and just move it down on each one. So I'm gonna do the same thing. And then I've got it here and I'll show you at this angle. I'm just gonna polish back and forth like this, constantly moving until the fret starts looking really shiny. Now these aren't too bad, but they can just be cleaned up a little bit. So I'm gonna do this on all of them. All right, so everything I've talked about so far could be applied to any type of guitar because the taping off of the pickups, or even if it was an acoustic and it didn't have pickups, you wouldn't have to do that step, but taping off the frets and going through and polishing every fret is something that you could do on any guitar. Now, because this is a rosewood guitar, I'm going to oil the fretboard, and I'm going to just use mineral oil. You know, there's some different type of oils you can use. You can look it up if you want to try something different, but I've used mineral oil. It works for me, and it's pretty easily available. Normally you find it in like the health and beauty section at a store. So anyways, I'm going to just take a little bit of oil on a paper towel, and it doesn't take too much, and I'm just gonna go through and rub this onto the fingerboard. And I'm just gonna go over and make sure that I get all of the fingerboard, and I'm just gonna let this sit for just a few minutes before I put the strings on and just kind of soak in. And this is just gonna kind of add some moisture back to this fretboard, and it'll just feel really nice and smooth. So here's just a close-up showing you the fingerboard and how great it looks after you put that mineral oil on there. And you know, after it sits for a few minutes, you can just take a paper towel and go over and just, you know, make sure that you don't have any like leftover pools of it. You know, just make sure it's nice and rubbed in and all kind of distributed evenly. And this is just gonna give you a really nice smooth feel after you put your new strings on when you're going to play it. All right, so now we've taken care of the fingerboard and we're ready to get this guitar set up to play. I've gone ahead and taken the tape off the pickups because we're done with that. There may be some excess steel wool residue left over. You can just wipe that off with a paper towel. And I've cut the strings off. I use cutters like this. You could use guitar string cutters that are made specifically for this, or you could use cutters like that. Either one is fine, and whatever works for you or whatever you have. I just loosen the string and get it nice and slack, and then I take the cutters and cut it here, and then you just pull it out from both sides, and it's kind of a quick way to get the strings off. And so now I'm just gonna load it up with new strings, and this thing will be ready to go. So when I put new strings on, I go ahead and pre-measure the string and then cut it. And the way that I measure it is like, I'll take the low E and I'll place it here, and I will cut the string here, one tuning head above. And I'll do that for each one. I'll cut it one tuning head above for each string. And then when I get up to the high E, I measure that one by just the edge of the headstock. And so I pre-measure each one, go ahead and cut it, and then load them in, and I'll show you how to do that as well. All right, so I've gone through and cut each string, and if you have a Fender guitar with these vintage style tuning heads, I'm gonna show you how to get the string locked in. So you're gonna place the string inside the hole in the center. And then you're gonna crimp it down and then pinch it here. And that's gonna like create a little lock. And then we're gonna turn the tuning head, and that's going to help to lock the string into place. Now I only have 2 hands. I need a third one to really do this well, but I'm just showing you when I'm twisting the tuning head, I'm keeping pressure like this. I'm pressing down on the string as the tuning head is rotating. So as the string goes around, it stays underneath the original crimp that we did. So all the winds will be underneath this, not on top of it. And I'll show you what that looks like when we're done. So this is what I meant about the string going below the crimp. This is actually going below this, and that's what you're looking for. Now, you're not gonna have a ton of extra winds since we pre-cut this. You're not gonna have a ton of extra winds, and I prefer that. It works for me. I think especially with a guitar like this, a Strat, it's good to just have a more concise string cut as opposed to having the extra winds. Some people swear by having like 3 winds or whatever, you know, you can do whatever you want. I'm just showing you what works for me and how I was taught. So I repeated the process on all 6 strings, just making sure that the crimp is on top and the string goes below. And we're all set here, and all we have to do now is just get this thing tuned up and it will be ready to go. All right, so I hope you got something out of this. We got this Strat, just feeling really nice. Got the fingerboard oiled up, got the frets polished, put some new strings on it, and it just feels really nice. And you'll be amazed at how much that contributes to the overall feel of the guitar after you just put a little TLC into it. You don't have to do the fingerboard oiling every single time you change the strings. You could if you wanted to. I personally don't. I'll go a few string changes if the board starts getting dirty, or if it's, you know, kind of dried out. That's when I'll go through and you know, use the mineral oil. But you know, it's just a nice way to really set the guitar off and just really have it play well. And this thing is ready to go. Thanks so much for checking this out. Let me know in the comments what you think, and I'll see y'all soon. Peace.